Hey, so I got a lot of comments on my little wall mount tool bracket here on the how and perhaps why I made this. And despite what it looks like, it's not actually topology optimized in the way that like Fusion 360, for example, you can add, your forces and the mounting points and things, and it'll iteratively reduce material costs and whatever. This is literally just me in Blender, noodling around with geometry. And so I was going to make a little tutorial on how to do that. In this case, I had found a 3D scan of the tool that I had, but like you could just measure yours or do whatever. Like this one really is only here because I happened to find it and it was easy. Don't need that. Here's the bracket. Don't need that. We're going to start with a new cube, as we always do. And the main thing here is we're going to add a modifier, subdivide. The subdivision modifier is pretty common, so I don't think I have to talk about it too much. But basically, our cube is nominally a cube in vertices, and as we squash and stretch, the vertices, we get this kind of resulting smoothed out subdivided egg, geometry, right? One tip here is you can use your vertices nominally like this, or in here there's a little button for it's called cage, and that'll show you the vertices kind of on the mesh, right? So that's pretty handy. But basically, I'm just going to go through and kind of make, a shape. And so if I have two faces that are kind of facing each other like this, Control E for our edge menu, and then bridge edge loops, and we can combine them into this bridge, right? We've made this chunky donut, and it's a little bit fat. So the tip for the aesthetic is to kind of make things thin. So we're just going to kind of thin that out. And then anytime you see kind of a square, right, like this corner is clearly just a square of extrusion, we're just going to take the edge and kind of make it round. So let's maybe take these and, oh, my cube is too big. Let's work smaller. This one, maybe this comes out in the third dimension here. And you can kind of just take like any face and any other face and bridge them together. And so this is a little bit fat too. And so we can make a cut in the middle, Control R into here, and we can kind of adjust it if we want. But that's our loop cut, and then we can scale that to be smaller. And so that's what's going to give you like this really nice organic, like it almost has a tension to it, the flow of like taffy or something as you pull and stretch it apart. We're sort of putting that into the shapes here where maybe this organic object kind of has like a knuckle and it's getting smaller in the middle. And the kind of tension of these things is like you can actually make fairly sharp lines where like this is smooth and flowing, but then it comes into this really tight, like this particular, it's not really an edge, right? Because it's subdivided, but like this corner is relatively sharp. And so that's what gives you kind of that nice like flowing tension of like it's smooth up here and it's part of the top, but now it's like curling underneath. I'm going to try to remove kind of this corner if I can. Maybe it comes out again. And even like really weird corner, like you can try, it won't always work, but sometimes it'll work where, if I wanted this to be like attached to him, let's bridge that edge loop. Never mind, that's a bad one. But if I wanted to, let's take him one out. Let's do something kind of rotated, maybe like that. Like, let's try that one. Oh, that's better. We have a lot of tension obviously in here. I wouldn't call that like a nice shape, but that's okay. Let's extrude like this guy. He can come here. We could do that one. Let's say that's pretty good. Same thing. I'm going to do a loop cut and kind of make it smaller. That's cool. We can combine these two. Same thing. I'm going to loop cut that. Maybe kind of pull him out like this. But anyway, that's the main flow of it, is like you're just gonna start kind of pulling stuff and moving it and playing with like the thicknesses, or like maybe this is really big. I don't know, that's fun, maybe. The one thing you can do is, let's make this even bigger. So if you have like a chunky kind of surface like this, you have a big face on this side, right, on the back and on the front. So these are going to be opposing faces on either side of a body. If we use I, we can inset them, and that gives you like a thickness. And then we can also bridge edge loop from there. And so that gives you a hole, right? You can just kind of punch holes in things. And so that's pretty fun too. So instead of extruding outward, you can take a fat body and inset bridge edge loop and kind of put a hole into the fat itself. And that's pretty handy. So that's actually like the main way I built mine, was if we just imagine that these kind of were solid wings at the beginning. This has 3 holes on this side. This has 4 holes on this side. I was really just taking kind of the chunk of that fat and just putting a hole inside of it. I really only needed these 2 faces to exist and like enough holes to mount it. So it's pretty easy to just do arbitrary geometry over here. And then when you're done, when you've discovered, you know, the thing you want to make, then we can also make it into a mount by just doing a simple kind of make a cube like that. I'm going to make kind of a duplicate as a backup, right? So this is, let's call it like non-destructive. Let's call this the pure one, where I have nominal low geometry and high subdivision editability. When I go to confirm this, I'm going to cut this out with Shift-Control-sign and give it a flat back. But in doing so, it also applies the modifier. And so now all of my vertices are committed to these vertices. So I do have a flat back, that's great. But my editability, I mean, I guess you have like proportional editing to some degree, like if you needed to move it a little bit. But it'll never be really as nice again as this, right? So my main flow is just to make like a duplicate before I do any Boolean operations. And then if we wanted to add some screw holes, we'd just do that the usual way. Throw that there, make it longer. You know, obviously you'd be measuring yours and doing it properly, but throw him like that. I don't know, maybe there's a second screw hole there or here. I'm just going to join these together. Same thing, highlight those. Let's check that I'm clearing everywhere. Highlight those and the other one, Control-Shift-sign, and we do some Boolean holes. So that's great. And then you have a bracket, and that took 5 minutes. But that's basically the whole flow. You can just start with your dimensions or whatever your goal is. You know, you can work and wrap it around, and then you flatten the back and drill some holes and make a bracket for anything you need. My one other tip for 3D printing, obviously, is because it will be on the floor like this, you can think about kind of overhangs. Like this one will be pretty good because it doesn't have a lot, and these are fairly well angled. But obviously if you had a shape where like if the bottom was flat here and this was a big span, then it'll print like a little bit droopy just because of how, you know, printing big spans works. But if you can get away with it, like usually you can print these without supports because they are sort of their own support shape, which is convenient. That's nice. And obviously you wouldn't want to droop like, you know, like that. You would need a support for that because now it's overhanging. But usual 3D print stuff applies. And yeah, go forth, make weird stuff, and send me a picture of whatever you build.